Hello, and thank you for joining us to learn about the benefits of the QuoteWerks Configurator. The Configurator is a powerful tool that simplifies the quoting process by eliminating the need to memorize or look up product options and relationships. It allows a salesperson to construct a simple or grouped bundle on the fly by following a series of pre-configured prompts that guide him through the necessary decisions. Let's start by looking at how the configurator is used, so we'll have some frame of reference when setting up our own configuration. The configurator can be accessed from the Products menu, or it can be accessed from the standard toolbar with the configurator icon. The available configurations will be listed here. We can also search the available configurations, clone an existing configuration, create a new configuration, and edit or delete an existing configuration. For now, we just want to test using a configuration, so we'll select Entertainment System, which comes stock with QuoteWerks. To begin using the configuration, click the Start button. From this screen, we see several pieces of information. In the title bar, we have the name of the configuration and the step number that we're on. Below that, we have a description for this step. We're currently being asked to select a type of TV. Below that, we see a list of available items, with the current example showing 3 options available: Pure Flat, hdtv, and Plasma. Below the list, we see instructions on how many items to select. In this case, we must select at least one, but no more than one, so we'll have to select exactly one item. Below that, we see a set of instructions about how to make the selection on this step. In this case, we're being told to select the type of TV that we want in the entertainment system. To the right of all this, under Selected Items, we'll see the list of selected products grow as we make our selections. For the sake of example, let's say we want to quote a package that includes an hdtv. If we're only making one selection from this step, we can just double-click on the selection and the configurator will automatically move on to the next step. Notice that the title bar now says Step 2 and the caption now says hdtv. We have arrived at a new screen that is specifically based on the hdtv choice that we made on Step 1. Our new instruction says to please select your hdtv, and we once again must choose at least one, but not more than one option. Let's say we want to choose the 61-inch hdtv. We're now on Step 3, and notice that our list of selections is growing on the right-hand side. This step appears to be for choosing accessories that go with the hdtv, and we can choose anywhere between 0 and 5 accessories. Let's include a power strip, component video cables, and a programmable remote. When making multiple selections, we can select them one at a time and click the Add button for each. Notice that when we select an item that has a picture associated with it, the picture will be displayed down here in the lower left-hand box. And now we'll click the Next button to move to Step 4. Step 4 is about receivers, and we're instructed to choose 0 or 1 receiver for the entertainment system. Let's choose the Denon receiver. Step 5 tells us to select from 0 to 10 speakers that we want to include with the system, so we'll just pick a few of these. Step 6 tells us to select a wiring package if we need one. Let's say that we don't need one, so we'll just move on by pressing Next. And now we're on the final step of the configurator. It tells us that we've finished assembling the items. We can use the Back button if we want to go back and change any of the selections. And then adding the selected items to the quote is a lot like using the normal Add Item Assistant. If we have headings in our document, we can select one to add the items below it, And the arrow beside the Finish button allows us to choose between adding the items to the end of the quote and inserting them at the current cursor position. Clicking the Finish button will just add the items to the end of the quote. We can see that the new grouped bundle with the heading Entertainment System has been added to our quote, including all of the items that we selected along the way. For more about working with grouped bundles, see our QuoteWerks Advanced Bundles tutorial video. Now let's take a look at how to build a simple variation of this configuration. We'll go back to the configurator screen. Let's try creating a new basic entertainment system configuration. We'll start by clicking the New button, and then give it a name. Now we can edit the new configuration with the Edit button. On the Settings screen, we can specify whether this is a simple configuration, which produces a simple bundle, or a grouped configuration, which produces a grouped bundle. We can also change the name of the configuration, and the configuration internal notes are just an internal reference that can be used to describe or make notes about this particular configuration. When we switch to a grouped configuration, we get a few more options for specifying a part number, item type, and configuration description. These fields will be used for the group header line that will be created when this configuration is used by a sales rep. The group properties will let us set the same properties that are used by grouped bundles, including a discount modifier and settings for making this a recurring grouped bundle. Now we'll flip over to the Flowchart tab to build our configuration. Here we'll create selection containers, and each container represents one of the steps that we followed in the configurator. So what steps do we need? Let's say we want the salespeople to choose a television, an optional receiver, and at least one speaker. So we'll start with a container for the TV selection by right-clicking and choosing Create New Selection Container. We'll just call it TV and click OK to create the container. We can now right-click on the container to clone it, delete it, or edit its properties. We can also double-click to edit the properties. The config prompt is what we see at the bottom of the configurator and is usually used to give instructions for making the selection. Below that, we can set the minimum and maximum selections allowed. We'll set both to 1, so the sales rep will have to select exactly one option. Finally, to set up the list of options available on this step, we'll switch over to the Items tab. Here we can add, edit, or remove items and bundles for a user to choose from. When we choose to add a new item, the standard product lookup window appears for us. From here, we can search for TV products and list a few in the configurator. We can select multiple options, and when we're ready, click Select Add. The next screen to appear allows us to set some of the standard product line item options like source database, manufacturer part number, quantity, line type, and line attributes. We can also set the sort order, which designates the ordering of the items on the TV step when the configurator is running. We'll be prompted for each product that we choose to add. We'll keep all of the default options for today, so we just need to click OK. We now see our 3 television options in the TV selection container. Let's move on and create our receiver container. We'll right-click to add a new container for the receivers, and then we'll edit the new container. We'll make it optional by leaving the minimum selection required as 0, but we'll set a maximum of 2. Then we can add our items. And choose a few to include in our configuration. Again, we'll keep all of the default settings and just click OK. Finally, let's add the speaker options and let the sales rep choose 1 to 4 speakers to include. And we'll add our items. Selecting a few to include in the configuration. The last step for creating our configuration is connecting the containers so the configurator will know what order to go in. We'll select the container that we want to start from, in this case the TV container. Notice the handle right in the center of the container. If we click and hold down the left mouse button, we can drag the handle to the next container, in this case the receiver's container. We'll be prompted to specify which kind of branch to use. We can choose default branch, navigation only branch, or one of the part numbers that we included in the TV container. The default branch will guide the user along after selecting a part. The navigation only branch will guide the user along without requiring the selection of a part. The part number branch will guide the user along based on which item they select. For now, we'll stick with the default branch, and the other types will be covered in more detail in the intermediate configurator video. Now let's connect the receiver's container to the speaker's container. And that completes the setup of our configuration. Let's quickly run through it and make sure that everything works correctly. We'll select Config Demo and click Start. We can see that the first step prompts us to select a TV. Next, we can select a receiver. And finally, we can select our speakers. And now we can add the configuration to the quote. We see that our grouped bundle is added to our document with each of the selections that we just made in our brand new Entertainment System Configurator. Thank you for joining us to learn more about the power of QuoteWerks and the QuoteWerks Configurator. Make sure to check out the intermediate and advanced configurator videos for even more demonstrations.